Here we go. Welcome, everyone, back for our usual show. I just said it's not our usual show because it's actually a day late. But it'll be worth it. Now, let me just see. I've got to switch back here. Video me. Now, that should be correct. Let me check that the chat is working, which it should be, I hope. Yes, all actions is ready to go. Yeah, I couldn't make it on yesterday because I was waiting on a lens coming, this little beauty over here, that I wanted to unbox with you guys today. So that's why I thought, well, I'll just sort of wait and then I can put it on. Boy, it's warm in here. I'm going to turn this air conditioner off. So I thought it'd be worthwhile waiting. That way I can sort of unbox it with you, have a look at it. Also dying to get the other Tamron lenses that I'm going to discuss in today's stories. So I can't wait to see that or to get those as well. But I've got this one for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to have to take it out and have a shoot with it. Try it out. Now, it is an APS-C lens, but, I'll talk about that once we get through it. So let's see who's in the chat. Joseph is saying just same. I think that was, because I said I'm looking forward to seeing you today. Mike said, hello, Dave. G'day, Mike. How are you? Robbie said, I like this. Has this turned into a Canon channel now? Let's get the show going. Come on, people. No, just thought I'd discuss the R3 and sort of where it fits in and what its competition is with Sony. So I thought that I'd discuss that with you all as well. G'day from North Carolina. Oh, I love the g'day there, Thomas. You're becoming a fellow Aussie. Nick said, here's my question. Do you think the sales market on the a7 III is going to bubble? Love listening to you. Must be the accent. Laugh out loud. Thanks so much, Nick. Well, it probably is. I mean, there's a story today that I'm going to talk about that the a7 II or R2 has now been discontinued. So they are going to start discontinuing some of their other cameras, I think. I mean, how many of these can they keep going? That's the issue, I suppose, that they've got there. I mean, I think that, you're going to see probably the price drop on that lens. Now, remember, I'm also streaming 4K. Now, I'm still trying this. It's saying it's perfect on my end, but it said there that the bit rate is lower than recommended. So hopefully the stream health is okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it probably is going to bubble. I think you're going to find that the price will drop the second that the a7R4 comes out, depending on the price of that camera too. Like if there's a huge difference in price, well then you might find that the price doesn't drop too much, because like if there's $1,000 difference between say an a7 III and an a7R a7 IV, well then there might still be a massive market for the a7 III. The other thing too is they may even reduce the price down and then it might sell incredibly well. But I do think if you've got a used one and you want to sell it, well then obviously, you're going to sort of lose money. Let me just check this is all okay over. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much we can do about it. It's like anything. If you've had the a7 III for a while and then you wanted to upgrade to the a7 IV and sell the a7 III, well, you know you're going to lose money. The only thing that really sort of keeps the money in the camera sort of realm is the lenses. The lenses don't seem to drop much over time. I mean, they might drop a little bit. In fact, sometimes they can even raise in prices. So you just don't buy cameras thinking that you're going to make money from them, because the bodies almost are disposable. I know that's a horrible thing to say when you spend so much on them, but they are. The only thing really that you keep is the lenses, and that's why it's so important to get really good lenses. And I always say that you're far better off to spend the cash on lenses than you are on a camera body, because the lenses will hold their value. The lenses you'll probably keep. Really, if it's a good lens, you could probably keep it for a lifetime, like the 135 for me or the 24 GM. You could probably keep those forever until they break down or whatever, because they're just as good as the day you bought them. The only thing that could happen, I suppose, is one day they might be out-resolved by some incredible sensors that are out there. But, if you're shooting like me and you're only dealing with loving 12 megapixel and also, 24 megapixel or even the a7 III, that you're never going to be out-resolved with the G Master lenses. I mean, that they can go up to, I believe, around about 100 megapixel sensor sizes, the G Masters anyway. So you're going to be right with them. But yeah, body-wise, yes, you're going to lose money. Lens-wise, probably not. And bodies, you're always going to be sort of upgrading, whereas lenses, you're not going to be upgrading so much. So how's the stream too, guys? Because I'm still getting warnings saying that it's lower than it recommended, but I mean, I've got so much bandwidth here on my end. It's just a YouTube thing. That's why I'm testing this to see how it goes. If it ends up being a real nuisance and it sort of keeps dropping out, you know, I may end up going back to 1080p, but I'm just trying it because I'd love to give the best quality that I can. So I hope that answers your question anyway, Nick. Quippy is saying, morning from Kuala Lumpur. G'day, buddy. How are you? Shane says, happy Sunday. You're working 7 days a week now. I'm always working 7 days a week. I'm always doing something. Kerry keeps telling me off, saying you should rest a little bit or take some time off. Julian said, evening. James said, hi from South Mississippi. Axeman said, sound good. Thanks, buddy. Nivak said, good morning, David. Robbie said, is this sound working? Well, I hope it is. It's showing it's working for me. Don't say that to me. Rocco says, greetings from Southwest Florida. Axeman said, APS, that is for me. John said, g'day, David. G'day, John, how are you? Michael said, hi, David. Cameron also says, g'day, David. This is also the pre-show, guys. I will put a timeline down below if you're watching this later on, so you can skip all of this stuff if you want to. I just like to always say, you know, hi to everyone that's joining me. Nevak said, stream is fine, David. Per said, hello from, is that Bergen, Norway? How are you, Per? Steve said, greetings all. Julian said, that Canon 5D Mark II lasted pretty long on the high end. It did, actually. Canon tend, though, to hold their cameras a lot longer. Well, even Sony now are doing it. They're not replacing the cameras as quickly as what they used to. Remember, probably a couple of years ago, they seemed to be upgrading the cameras all the time, and that was sort of horrible if you just bought a camera and then they released another one. Like, they were almost doing it at one stage every 12 months. Canon, on the other hand, and Nikon, on the other hand, used to have around about a 3-year cycle. So, you know, it was a lot different in those days. So Canon even now do take longer to sort of upgrade or update their sort of higher-ended cameras. And in a way, that's better because your camera holds value a lot longer. Well, Sony seem to be doing that too now. Like, if you look at the time difference from the a7 III to the a7 IV, there has been a gap now. And I think that's a good thing. I think when they were just sort of churning them out all the time, your camera immediately lost value, and I don't think that was a really good thing, really. So I'm sort of glad Sony are holding back a little bit now. See, initially, I think, too, that Sony were trying to really grab marketplace, you know, like the sales numbers that were out there, and that's why they sort of pushed out so many cameras like they used to. So Stephen said, the stream is great so far. Thanks, Stephen. Marvellous Visual said, hi from the UK. Boy, you're up late. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Milos says, hi, David. I would like to ask your opinion about the Sony FE 24-70 2.8 GM and the Sony 70 to 200 2.8 GM lenses, whether it's worth the upgrade or not if Sony releases new versions of these lenses. If you haven't got them at this stage, I would say hang out because I do think they're going to be upgraded. So I probably wouldn't do it at this stage. I'd wait a while and just sort of see what happens. They will be better. I mean, look, there's no doubt about it. Those lenses are good already, but you can. It's like Nikon and Canon have always released a version 2. In fact, Tamron, I'm going to talk about one today. Tamron are just about to release a version 2 of the 28-75. You'll find that the version 2s of the 24-70 and the 70-200 are probably going to be unbelievable, because if you look at how, you know, their G Master lenses now are producing, the sort of sharpness and the focus and everything else on those lenses, they are absolutely outstanding. So I think you're going to find that the version 2s are going to be a substantial upgrade to the version 1s. They'll have the linear focus motors in them. They'll have better glass and everything else. Oh, I just got a donation too. Thank you so much. I'll just show this just so I can put that over there. I've got to wait for it to come up, I think. It was Nick Pixel TV. $4.99 from Nixel Pixel TV. Thanks for all you do. Many blessings. I'll show that when it comes up on the thing. I just can't show it yet. Actually, I might be able to. I think I can go down the bottom. Should be there now. Is that showing? No, it's still a bug. So I'm using this program that is on beta at this stage, and I must tell the developer because it's still not showing when I get a donation. Let me just check that's still working. Yeah, it is. It's the donation ones that aren't showing. I must message him again. Anyway, thank you so much, Nick Pixel TV. Thank you so much for the support. That's unbelievable. So, yes, Milos, I would wait at this stage and see. If you're not in a hurry to get them, I would wait and just see what happens. If you have got them and then you wanting to upgrade, and that's what your question is, you'll just have to wait until they're released and see whether they're worthwhile. But you'll probably find that they're probably going to be lighter and smaller. That's another advantage too with what Sony seem to be doing now. Be interested in your opinion on these two lenses. Will it represent images with a fixed focal length? Thank you very much for your opinion. Interested in your opinion on these lenses. Will it represent images with a fixed focal length? I'm not sure what that means. You might have to sort of rephrase that so I can understand what the question is, Milos. Rocco said, never had a problem with your feed. Joe said, release date for the Tamron 35 to 150, please. Well, I don't know yet at this stage. I'm still waiting on getting one here. So hopefully it'll come soon. I wouldn't think it'd be too far off, though. I'm just waiting on getting one in Australia. I did ask the other day, and they still haven't got any here. So as soon as they get one, I'll have it for review. I'm so excited about that one. So happy we're getting closer to the a7 IV time. Just got over having COVID, and it's all the more reason to treat myself. Well, I hope you're okay, buddy. Jumpy said, in your opinion, when is APS-C an advantage? Should I upgrade to full frame? Well, it just depends. APS-C does have some advantages. They're smaller, for one. That's one massive difference. The lenses are cheaper. Also, you get more reach, so that's another advantage as well. But you lose out, I suppose, in the other end if you want a really wide-angle type of camera. I mean, look, for me, I prefer to shoot in full frame. There's a couple of things. Your low-light ability in full-frame cameras is better. And also, your depth of field, the bokeh, looks nicer because it's shallower than what you'll get with APS-C. So I do love to use full frame. So, I mean, look, I'm using the A6400 now, and it's a terrific camera. It's got the 16mm f1.4, the Sigma version on it. And I love it. I mean, it's a great camera, great for travel and things like that. But if I'm shooting professionally, I do use that sometimes as a backup camera, but I'll always use my full frame. So, personally, I think it's worth upgrading to full frame. But I've seen that you can shoot beautiful images with the APS-C as well. Waiting on version 2 of the 28-75. Hope it's f2. I think it's going to be still. I think it's still going to be f2.8. But from what I've been told, it's a very, very special lens because I think it's rated like the G2 lenses. And if anyone knows anything about the Tamron G2 lenses, they are outstanding. The 35mm that I used was unbelievable. It was probably the best 35mm that I've ever used. That was a Nikon version, though. But, yeah, I would think that the 28-75 is going to be incredible. I really do. Stay tuned because I'll discuss that today. But from what I've been told, it is outstanding. Hope you're okay, David. You don't seem as chirpy as normal. Yeah, fine. Marvellous. Yep, I'm fantastic. No problem at all. It's probably because it's Sunday morning. Could be. I don't know. No, I'm fine. I'm really happy, actually. Looking forward to the day ahead. But thank you for asking. Axman said, fixed focal length, I think he means fixed aperture. No, there won't be fixed aperture. Well, there will be if you, in fact, sort of say it's a 2.8, yes. Jimpy said, thanks, David. Love these streams. No problem at all. And thank you so much for the donation, Nick Pixel. I just don't know why it doesn't show them. I'm going to have to message him again because it's just not showing those, which is a nuisance. Oh, well, can't do anything about that. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll start unboxing this lens because I'm excited to see what it's like. So let me switch over to that. So I've got to go over to, which camera is it? It's 8. So let me go there and let me just turn off these questions for a minute. Now, so it's actually the 18-300. Now this is an APS-C lens and it's a 3.5 to 6.3. And it's got the VXT focusing and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be very, very quiet like all of their lenses are now. So let's have a look. We'll open it up. I'll just chuck these on the floor. Sorry, Tamron. And then we'll take it out. And then have a look. Ooh. So let me just get the focus down here. All right, so it is a 67mm filter thread, and I just adore that with all the Tamron gear because you can basically use the same NDs and stuff like that. I think that's the best thing ever. That won't work with the 35 to 180 that they're going to bring out though. It's got a lock here, which is good. Let me just move it out. So it is a barrel. The barrel does come out like you can sort of see here. And that's okay. I mean, that's fine. It feels the typical quality that you're looking at with Tamron. Like I said, it's almost indestructible, this stuff. It's so hard wearing. Even though it's like a plasticky material, it's very, very good sort of withstanding scratches and things because it does stop that from opening up and sort of, sort of pushing down when you're walking around with it and stuff like that. Although it doesn't feel like it would have lens creep anyway because it feels like it's quite nice and firm when you turn that zoom ring. It's got a nice little bit of give there, so it feels really nice. They are the opposite, remember, to your normal lenses, Sony lenses, because your focus is on this side down here. So I find that now because I'm so used to it. And it's just the way it is. But once you sort of start using Tamron, they're very, very easy to sort of switch between the two, and I don't really have any issues now at all. So it is designed in Japan. It's probably made in Thailand or somewhere like that. I'm not sure. It probably would tell me on the box. So I'm going to have to see how this goes and where the aperture changes from in the focal range as you sort of zoom up, where it changes from 3.5. But 3.5 to 6.3 on a lens of this sort of length is pretty good, I think. Remember, this is an APS-C lens, so it will sit on a on a A6-400 or A6-600 or the ZV-E10. And it'd be a fantastic travel lens because it actually doesn't be heavy at all. Let me put it on the camera and I'll just sort of show you the size there. I mean, I'm going to put it on my A7S3 just so you... And then we'll stick it on just to get a feel of it. There's all gaskets everywhere on this lens. Yeah, so it gets on quite nice and snug. So this is what it will look like on your frame as well. It'll be nice to get really good reach if you're using it. It'll obviously have the typical Tamron fairly close focus and things like that. It is a decent extension, though, there in the barrel, though. It's sort of nice when you're sort of feeling it around, like that, where it's actually in. But the focal range is great. That's why I'm saying this is terrific. 18 to 300 is a great focal range. I'm looking forward to taking it out in the next couple of days and trying it out. I'll put the lens hood on just so you can see the whole thing there. Can't show you much more about anything with that yet. I'll test it out and see. Let me just see how close the focus is. I'm just curious. Let me go to stills just so I can tell. Yeah, it's got the typical Tamron thing. I can almost touch it actually. So it's terrific. So if I focus, say, on this, let me just open up the aperture a little bit. It will focus from, let me see, it's going to focus from there, which is incredible, isn't it? Can I go even closer? Yeah, I can. So it's got that macro ability as well, which is nuts. I mean, that's incredible. Just trying to see where I can get in on the monitor here. Yeah, that's amazing. So it does have that beautiful ability that the Tamrons have of being able to use as a macro lens. So what a great travel lens if you're dealing with shooting APS-C particularly, where you can use it as a macro and you've got that reach of 18 to 300. That's fantastic. I love it. So that's that. Let me just take it back off and I'll stick the other lens back on. You can see the on my A6400 that the A7S3 ball mill on there. I just adore it. I just love it to death. So that is the Tamron. Now stay tuned because obviously I'll have a review up in the coming, see what it's like. So I'll have a full review up like in the next week or so. I'll have to give it a decent sort of try. I'll be really interested to see how it is for video. I'm sure all the latest Tamron lenses that I've used have been incredibly silent in autofocus and very, very good in autofocus for stills and video. So I'll be testing all those sort of things as well. So stay tuned. Let me just switch back to me. Now, the other thing that I've got, I'll just show you. You're going to laugh when you see this because you guys know. Can anyone guess what it is? I'm going to see in the chat. Let's see if anyone can guess what it is. I love it. Let's go. All right, what do you reckon this? Oh, look, I'm going to bring it up really slowly. Hang on. I'm not going to show it yet. I have to see if someone. Now I'm 30 seconds behind in the chat, so let me see how it goes. Are you going to? I'm dying. Where's the chat? Let me go. Someone says it's buffering. Yeah, it probably is. It's not me. It's YouTube's end that's causing this. And I'm just testing this to see how the 4K streams. If it keeps being an issue, I'll go back to 1080. But I'm just testing it to see. I'd love to give you guys the best quality. Come on, let me see. No one's having guesses yet. Let's see. Come on. Hang on. I'll bring it. Come on. Oh, Marvelous Visuals got it. He said a new gimbal. Ooh. Oh, it's backwards. No wonder you couldn't see it. Hang on, here we go. Ooh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. I'll show it to you because I'm just testing it out. Where are we? It's pretty good. So this is it here. It's I have to come over this side, I think. It's nice and small. Well, when I say small, it's definitely a lot smaller than my other gimbals that I have. I do have the original Moza Air Cross. I've still got it in the other room, actually. This is the Air Cross 2. I've been sent this because this works with the Moza SliPod that I've got down the back. And you can use them both together. So you can actually have the gimbal attached to the Moza Air Cross 2, and then you can be manipulating them both at the same time. So stay tuned for that video because that's going to be a fun one to show. Let me put that back down here. So before we go to the news, let me just see what people are saying in the chat just to see if I can answer some questions. Then we'll go over to the news. So, yeah, Julian said they're waiting for the version 2, hopes it's F2. I think it'll be 2.8. I was already read all that. Glad to be finally joining you live on your live stream. I've always had to watch later, listening to this while building a new editing PC. Ooh, nice. Shane said, is that a Shure SM7B? How does it compare to the Rode mic you were using? Yes, it is. It's brand new. I love it. I think the sound quality of this lens, of this mic is terrific. It also is better too because the Rode was terrible. I mean, this does still get things when I bang on the desk, but the Rode picked everything up. And if I touched the desk, you could hear the banging that was going on and things like that. So this is so much better. It's a much more expensive mic, but it is way better than the other one that I had. So yeah, it's terrific. I love it. Yeah, so it is that one. Well, let me know what you think about the audio. It's definitely, to me, sounds much nicer. Thanks, love these streams. Julian says, I hope the A7 IV has 4K 60. Well, I'm going to talk about that shortly, Julian, so stay tuned. Steve said, I have the 70-200 Canon version of the Tamron G2 lens. It's very good. The Tamron G2 lenses are always amazing. Considering the loss of the wide angle on APS-C, I'm tempted to get the 14mm GM. That's a great lens. It's one, too, that I would probably love to get. I really think I hope Sony bring out a 12mm one. That really would tempt me. There is the zoom one, but I want a prime lens. I love shooting primes. Made in Vietnam. Yeah, I thought that the Tamron lens would be. Put it on the live stream camera and use it for the show. It might be a bit long. Are you going to test it on the A6400? Yes, I will. I'll test it on both, David, actually. I'll take out both cameras, so I will. I mean, I'll definitely test it on the A6400 because that's what it's really designed for, APS-C. But I'll try it on the full frame as well. Curious if you would feel too front-heavy on the ZVE10. Well, it will be front-heavy, yes. But I suppose if you're after a lens that is fantastic to give you that zoom range, it's worth it. And I think that's, if you're traveling, I think it's wonderful to have a lens that can do everything like that well. I'm not sure. Oh, gimbal, yeah. Axeman said drone. I love it. Julian was laughing. New gimbal, marvelous visual said. I love it how a lot picked it. I'm gimbal crazy. A PS5. Woo. Beer. Oh, it won't be long until I'm having beer with you guys, I can tell you that. The South Australian Gimbal Museum. Another shiny lady. Oh, you guys, honestly. I am going to start the news in a minute. David, do you think the Tamron 17-28 and the Tamron 28-200 is a decent combo for travel photography? I would really like the Sony 16-35 and the Tamron 35-150 as a combo, but Tamron isn't out. Yeah, that is a great combo. I think, John, if you can wait, I'd wait for the 35-150 if you can wait, because I think that's going to be a pretty special lens. But they are terrific, both of those lenses. I took the 17-28 to the US and I loved it. Julius Pericron. A mini Barbie salon. You guys, what's going on here? They're all talking about what I was going to show. Oh, honestly. GoPro 11, I love it. What is the brand of the camera cage? Oh, okay. This one is a YC Onion cage. I love it. Let me whiz the camera. You're confused with all cameras all over the place. Yeah, it's here. It looks great. Let me switch to this one and I'll show you properly. It's 8, isn't it? 8. Let me just hide that thing. So yes, so this is the cage. It's nice because it fits. I love the small rig one as well, though. I mean, I really like that too. I'm going to do a live with small rig apparently soon, and I'm going to be showing some of the different options for the A7S III. But this also does fit really, really nicely. It does have the key there that you can use, the Allen key, to take it off and tighten things up and things like that. Great for your battery down here. But it's very, very form-fitting, really form-fitting, particularly around the handle. And I like, too, that this is pushed sort of to the front here, because it gets it away completely from your hot shoe here, that it's pushed down to here. You have another cold shoe there as well. So it's YC Onion. I have done a video review of it, so if you search my channel, you'll find it. It wasn't done that long ago, actually, so that's what that is. It's a really good cage. Axeman said, you just got rid of all those gimbals you were holding anyway. No, I've got to sell them. I just haven't done it because we're in lockdown. Haha, you added to the gimbal graveyard. I love it. David got the A7R4 with the new screen. Very nice improvement. I bet it is. And I'm hoping the A7R4, the A7 IV has that too, Ronald. I'm sure it will. What else have we got? I better start the thing, actually. All right, so let's get stuck in anyway. I'll see if I can come back to the chat later because otherwise I'm never going to get through all these news stories. So let me go over to this and let me quit the chat. All right. Let me, oh, is it gone? Yeah, so it's gone now. All right, so let me just go over here and then go to the first story. I think actually it's a bit further across. Let me do it here. Oh, no, that is it. So the Tamron, which is interesting because people have been asking a lot of questions about all of these. It's pretty cool because this is the 35. Now, I've been guessing about what the focal range was going to be, and now it looks like it's now been released. And this is fine to me. I noticed someone commented on my video today. They said that they weren't happy with this, but I am. I'm actually still quite happy with how it was working. I was hoping that it was going to hold that f2 up to sort of 60 mil or so, but it's only 2.5 up to 80. Or a fraction under 80. So that's fine. I mean, I still love using my Tamron 28-75 at 2.8 at sort of 70 mil. So, and the bokeh and everything's beautiful on that, and this will be better. Now, it's saying that it has f2 up to 40 mil. You've then got f2.2 up to 60, and it is 2.5 up to 80 mil. Then the rest of it, up to 150, is 2.8. So this is the whole focal range that you're looking at through it. Now, I do believe it's quite... it's not going to be a light lens, though, and that's something that you do have to understand with this lens. It's not the 67mm lens. I can't remember the actual weight, but it is going to be... Oh, it'll tell us when we look at the next story, actually, I think, or a bit further down. So it certainly is going to be much heavier. I'm just trying to see, does it come down here? I thought it had a second thing about it. No. Oh. There was a separate page. Let me just drag this off for a minute. I'm going to see if I can open up another page. I'm just going to add another one for a second. Add new tab. Sony Alpha Rumours. Because it was down here somewhere. No, it's gone. Well, that's weird. Because before when I opened it up, it kept going with different lenses because it was discussing the two lenses and it's not doing it. Oh, well. Can't do anything about it. Let me just bring it back up into here so it fits again. Let me go back. So anyway, I just really sort of wanted to show this, but so I still think this would be the best wedding lens that would be out there. And I don't mind if I had it on one camera and I could sort of push this down and use it, as well as, say, have a second camera and then I'll be using my primes. But to have that focal range of 35 at f2, and also I could go up to 150mm with the one lens that is there, I think is outstanding with this. And from what I've been told, the image quality on this lens is absolutely superb. It's the 28-75 is also going to be a terrific lens too. So I'm really interested in looking at how that is. I've been told that's something pretty special, as it's sort of rated like the G lens. So these are two lenses that I can't wait for Tamron to release in the coming days. I'm really excited about them, actually, because this one particularly really excites me. I'm not sure yet when they're releasing it. I haven't been told. All I know is it's going to be soon. But you do have to understand it's not small like what the 28-75 and all the usual Tamron lenses is like I've just showed you with the lens that I showed you there. This is a much sort of larger lens, and even though the 28-75 is a beautiful sharp lens, I think this one is going to be something special. But having said that too, don't discount the new 28-75 as well, because I love the 28-75 now, and that is incredibly sharp. I could just imagine how much better that the new one must be if they're saying it's something special as well. Tamron are really kicking goals with their lenses. They really are, and I think it's pretty exciting what's happening now in the Sony realm, because we're so blessed because we have so many different lenses and things that we can have. Like it's just it's absolutely amazing what we've got there. So stay tuned. I'm dying to get this lens, and I did say to Tamron the other day that I can't wait to get this lens. I'm so excited about getting it. But I've just got to wait until they get some in Australia. But, it won't be far off, I don't think. But anyway, I've got this new one that I can test out in the meantime. So stay tuned for more information about this. But I think the f-stops where they change and stuff that's fully acceptable to me. 2.5 up to 80 mil is terrific. So I've got no issues with that at all. I mean, I was really hoping it was going to stay at f2 for further, but 35 to 40 mil, the 35 focal range is really nice. It's pretty good for portraits too. Used to be my favourite focal length, 35. So if you've got f2 at 35 up to 40 mil, it's going to be a great thing for using for portraits and things like that too, where you want a bit more environment, sort of coming into the image. So, I think that's terrific anyway. Let's keep moving on. I noticed too that there's going to be a new announcement made by Sony. Now, this is pretty interesting too, because they're saying that it's going to be October the 9th at 9 a.m. This probably, if you read the article, I'll leave all these down below, but if you read the article, it looks like it's going to be some Cine lens gear. It's not going to be the a7 IV, they're saying, which is a pity, but you never know. But I wouldn't think they'd be releasing the a7 IV in NAB. It makes more sense that it's going to be, Cine gear that's sort of announced for that. So that makes total sense to me. But I just did think that I'd show you that there is going to be an announcement on the 10th of October at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Let's keep moving on. Now, the latest rumours on the a7 IV. So this is interesting too. They're saying now that it's going to have the exact same body as the a7S III, and that makes complete sense to me. It also means you'd be able to use like the cages that are on the a7S III as well. But what it doesn't mention is if it's going to have the fold-out rear screen. Now, if it's saying it's got the exact same body, does that mean it'll also have the flip-out articulating screen? It's saying it's going to have the same heatsink. It takes SD and CF Express cards as well. I'm so hoping it does have a flip-out screen, but I just don't know yet. I'm hoping it does. But having the body of the a7S III is great, because I do love the body of this. It's just fantastic. I still think this is by far the nicest camera I've ever used or held. There's just something about it. You know how I feel about my a7S III. Well, if the a7 IV is exactly the same, and I suppose that's the same as the a1 as well, so and things like that, and the a7R4 I think has the same body, I think, apart from the flip-out screen. But I'm hoping that this does have the flip-out screen. That would be terrific if it does do that. The other thing that they're still saying they believe that the launch is going to be October if the chip supply permits, because, we're short on all of that sort of stuff with the chips at the moment. Newly developed 33-megapixel sensor. 4K 30 video is oversampled from 4K. So that is going to be incredibly sharp video, incredibly sharp. The only thing, it's still not saying 4K 60, and that's a real disappointment for me. In fact, if it was 4K 30, I would not buy it for that alone. But remember, that's me. I think this is going to be an incredible camera, and if you don't care about 4K 60, well, then it's still going to be an amazing camera. It's going to have 5.5 stops of IBIS, same AS as the a7S III body design, full-size HDMI. That is brilliant alone. I love that. I hate using these other cameras that I've got that have the micro HDMI. And it's going to have the same UHS-2 SD cards and CF Express cards. The other thing too, that it's going to have some other things. It'll have the focusing of the a7S III, or a mix between that and the A9, but they're saying it's going to have the best focusing that Sony's got, so that's going to be interesting, and I believe that. I don't think they're going to hold back. I think they were saying it was going to be 10 frames per second. We don't know what the electronic shutter is going to be like, or how fast that sensor will be. So there could still be some rolling shutter. We don't know yet. We've got to wait and find out about that. It'll have the new menu system that's there. There's two things that, like I said, will stop me from buying it. The first thing is if it doesn't do 4K 60, and I don't really want it pixel binned, line skipped. I want a true 4K 60. And the other thing that I want is a flip out screen. Now, that's me. You guys may not be worried about that at all. Thanks so much, Sam, for the donation. Really appreciate it. I just can't show them because the software I'm using doesn't show the donations. I've got to contact the guy that's developing this software. But thank you, Sam. I really appreciate it. Making up for being late, he said. Thanks, buddy. So I think if you don't care about that, if you wanted a hybrid camera that will go up to 4K 30, and you're not worried about that, remember that it doesn't mean that we're not going to get 4K 60, but it might be line skipped or pixel binned. I think if they do that, and it's not a flip out screen, I will, when I get the money, I'm going to buy another A7S III. Because I could easily get by for the next few years with A7S3s, the way that I'm shooting. 12 megapixels is ample for me. But I'm still waiting. It's like work in progress for me at the moment to see what they offer with this camera. But some great features. It's got the CF Express cards. If you can't afford those, it's going to have the dual UHS-2 cards. You've got the full-size HDMI. Again, that's a massive bonus. No one's mentioning it, but I'm sure this will have the better screen that the new cameras have released now, so that's another benefit as well, and that is a massive upgrade. The IBIS probably will be better. The sensor 33 is good because it does give you that ability to crop in, so it's a good mix between, say, something like the A7R4 and, you know, the A7 III. Now you're getting something sort of in between, so I think 33 people, a lot of people will be very happy with. So that's another thing. You'll get the new menus, new autofocus, and probably a much better EVF. It's not going to be the 9.7 million dot one of the A7S III, but it'll be 5.7 or whatever that one is. So I think it's going to be an outstanding camera. I'm just waiting to see whether it's, you know, if it's a camera for me. I'll come back to the chat too, because you may have questions. This is the Tamron stuff. I've just put it around the wrong way. So this is the 35 to 150, just to sort of show you what the lens looks like. And it probably may tell me what the weight is on this. I'm just trying to see if I can see it. Let me go full screen on mine. I'll check up here. I'm just trying to see if it mentions where the weight is. Not sure it does. But the zoom range is terrific. I mean, look at, you know, like I said, if you were dealing with doing weddings or travel or whatever, and you've got a zoom range from, say, you know, this, where they're showing the building, to the close-up of the clock there, like that is fantastic. It's also got the ability as well to, you know, do your close-up macro. That's what I love about the Tamron so much. You can sort of shoot semi-macro as well. They're also getting here, it says proprietary software tool. It's going to be called the Tamron Lens Utility. And that's how you can customize the lens, which is really interesting. You can also update the firmware and things like that. New lens improves both operation and ergonomics. It'll probably be in here where it says the weight. It's got 21 elements in 15 groups. Wow. Where's the filter size is 82 mil, so it is up. It's the same as the 135 GM. There you go. It's 1.65. I think it's hard to see, but I think it's 1.65 grams or 41 ounces, 41.1 ounces. Yeah, so it's not light, that's for sure. That's about it. Now further down. It also showed here, let me just scroll this down. It's got the new Tamron. Is that going to go? Why isn't that moving? Let me just drag this off for a second. I'll just drag it off over here and see if I can get this down. Oh, there we go. Is it going to show the... No. Doesn't do it. I thought they also had the 28 to 75. Oh, yeah, here it is here. All right, let me just move this back over. All right. Now, notice now how they're saying the all-new G2, great performance, just got better. So this is going to be outstanding too, I believe. It's the 28-75 f2.8 G2. And if you notice too that they are giving it things like spectacular optical performance that inspires creativity, you're also going to get the same lens utility as well. So that's obviously something new that they're offering now. Capture all the action with high speed, high precision AF. It'll be interesting to see if it would do. I don't think it will give you the ability to shoot the 30 frames per second though, or the 20. It'll probably still be around 15, unless you use manual focus. But you know, I'll have to test that just to see. But I expect this lens to be incredible. It's got a magnification ratio of 1 to 2.7. So, like I said, it's going to be great for doing sort of that semi-macro type stuff. Second lens, the new second generation lens design improves both operation and ergonomics. I'm just seeing what they say up there. Texture grip has been improved by, so obviously they've changed that stripe pattern on the rubber. Zoom rings. Certain internal parts have also been enhanced. The surface of the lens exterior is shiny black. Oh, okay, so they've gone shiny now. Interesting. Much glossier than the previous models. Tamron considers customer feedback, and they're saying they've gone over the finest details. This has 17 elements in 15 groups. So there you go. So I'm really excited about both of these two lenses. I can't wait. So stay tuned anyway for both of that. I'm glad that I thought I had that somewhere. Now let's go through the G2. Let me just move this over a little bit. Need to move there. I just wanted to sort of talk about this with you. I know this is the Sony Alpha News and Rumours, but there's been a lot of comparisons about where this, fits and whether it's sort of a competition to the A1 or the A9 II. And I think it's closer probably to the A9 II. But let's have a look at it anyway, because it's and like I said, I'll leave this down below so you can have a look at it. I think it's actually a really good camera, but boy, does it look big when you look at that. I don't think I'd want to go back to the days of lugging around these massive cameras, but it does seem like it's a really, really good camera. So this is the camera itself here. You can see it has the battery built in at the bottom, the battery bank, so it's one full sort of camera. It's like the old D4 series cameras. They always have that sort of thing. They're designed a lot for sport shooters and stuff where you're not having that issue of screwing a separate battery grip at the bottom, which can be a problem if you're dealing with wet weather and things like that. The sensor is 24 megapixels, and that's interesting how they've stuck with that. I'm surprised about that. That's why I think this is more a comparison to the A9 II than it is to the A1. Just for that 24 megapixels alone. Now, I know it does 30 frames per second, and I believe it does hold 30 frames per second. So that is the same as the A1, but it's other things that, I think sort of make it match more to an A9 II than anything else. They said roughly similar to my results from the Alpha A1. They're talking about... what's it saying? There's still a little skewing if you really pan quickly. Well, I'm surprised. I bet you any money the A1 would be better than what the EOS R would be if you're panning quickly. The sensor, I'm sure, would be faster. Then he just threw some photos up there. It says the autofocus is extremely fast. It does have a couple of really cool things, though. Like it does go up to, in the electronic shutter, it does go up to 1/6400th, which is incredible. Because the A9 is 1/3200. So that would be brilliant. If you're shooting in bright light with a fast lens, I think that's fantastic. It does say that if you're using the mechanical, it is 1/8000th though. But to have 1/64,000th, whew, that's nuts. It really is. He talked about the video features. He said there's no 8K video, but the 4K video is oversampled in all models. So in all modes, I mean. So it is going to be terrific video. And in fact, he says down here that it looks as good as what the 4K HQ is on the EOS R5. And the 4K HQ on the EOS R5 is brilliant. So it looks like if you're after 4K 60, this camera would be outstanding, exceptional, in fact. But it doesn't do the 8K that like the A1 has. So if you were after 8K, and that does have advantages. Look, admittedly, I mean, I shot with it. It's brilliant to be able to cut in, but it's hard to work with. So, yeah, I don't know. But it is an advantage to have the 8K for future-proof in the camera as well. No overheating. They've also got no longer a time limit, which is great. He said he actually shot for, I think, a few hours. He said 2 hours of 4K 25. He shot there without any overheating at all. You can do external USB-C power. Then he just did some bird in flights. He said the RAW, there is also 6K RAW internal. That's nuts as well. That's fantastic to be able to do that. Recording up to 60p. So you've got 6K RAW at 60p if you're shooting internal. That's pretty good too. I haven't read all this. I just saw it there and I thought I'd discuss it with you guys. He talks about the eye control autofocus here. Where he says, once calibrated a couple of times, the new eye control system allows you to place a target anywhere on the frame with eerie accuracy. If you, in use, you look at the subject you want and then push the shutter or AF on and let the camera AF take over. It's pretty cool though, isn't it? It's got vehicle autofocus. What else? New hot shoe. They've taken the Sony hot shoe, in other words, basically where it has the ability to put in electronic devices like what Sony has with their electronic microphones and stuff like that. It's great because it means you don't need to put batteries inside your microphone that you add in. The other thing too, it's got internal GPS as well. So it looks like, and this is why I just wanted to discuss it, it looks like it's a fantastic camera. It looks like it's definitely probably in specs better than what the A9 II is, because you will get things like picture profiles and other things. Like I said, the 6K internal RAW is pretty incredible at 60p. You can't shoot 4K 60 on the A9 II. This is why probably you'll have to wait until you get an A9 III. But I still think, looking at it, I don't think this is direct competition to the A1. I think it's more direct competition to the A9 II. But I think Sony does have to answer this with something like an A9 III. And that will come, I think, anyway. So anyway, it's interesting to see what was there. So I just thought I'd mention that to sort of show you, what's sort of happening in the competition. Remember, competition is great for us all. It really is. Let's go to the next one. I just wanted to do this too because this is just sort of news now. The wild rumor, new Sigma 70 to 200 millimeter FE is coming, and it weighs only 1,050 grams. How cool is that? I mean, that's really small, particularly for Sigma. So Sigma are starting to do what Tamron have done, and they're really starting to take the weight off these lenses. Because remember, initially, whenever you thought sort of putting Sigma onto your Sony cameras, they were always massive honking lenses. But it looks like they're starting to change that now, and I think that's good news. Like I said, we're so blessed now with what's going to be coming out. This one here, the Sony a7R now apparently has been discontinued, and that really probably makes sense to me. You just go for the a7R3, which you can get really good value at the moment if you're looking for a high megapixel camera and you don't want to go up to the a7R4. You can get some really terrific deals on the a7R3. That was great. I had that, loved that camera. And then here, there's a new release. Let me just move this over a little bit. Here you've got a new release of this Sony Electronics Visual Story. I haven't had a look at this, and I must have a look at this because it's sort of tailored for doing things like weddings and things like that. If anyone has used this, let me know in the chat down below to see what you think about it. But basically, the idea is that you shoot and then you upload that to your phone, and then you can send images immediately to your guests, and then you can also send it afterwards to your bride. Now, this is the version 2 of this app. But I must try it because it sounds really interesting. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it certainly does sound interesting. Let me know if anyone has used it and whether you found it worthwhile for events and things like that, because I'd be curious to know what it is. Now, I noticed they're saying now that they've added compatibility with video content. So before, it must have only have done stills, whereas now it's doing video as well. But it looks nice when you look at the interface and things like that. It does look really cool how it works. Particularly how you can sort of it's saying here during the event, you can say go to remote participants. So you could actually show people what's going on that were waiting in the reception or something like that. You know, you're shooting the bride and stuff like that. Has some interesting possibilities. And that's it, I think. I mentioned that last week. I just grabbed that in there. So let me just switch back to me and go back to one. And let me just check. Where are we? There. Let me just check that this is working. Yep, it is. All right, so let's open up to Q&A. So curious to know if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Now, I answered that down there. Hector said, what's up, David? I'm back. G'day, Hector. Axman said, shoot, I was going to buy that Rode. The new mic sound is much more studio-like. Well, yeah, this is more of a professional mic that they often use in radio broadcasts and things like that. So I've noticed it's a massive upgrade from my Rode. So, yeah, I mean, I'm listening on headphones and I adore the sound that this is giving me. Plus, like I said, the rejection of this thing is unbelievable, the way it rejects things that are around anywhere from the outside. I know you can hear this, but when I had the Rode, if I dropped this, it would have been so loud coming through. So the rejection alone is fantastic. And you can get that really radio sound if you come in really close like this. And if this is what you want to talk like, yeah, baby. Yeah, boom, boom, chaka-cha, boom, boom. I've got to behave myself. Axma said, I have the Tamron 17-28 and I can say it's great. I loved it. Like I said, I really loved using that when I was over in the States. It was great. I pair it with the Sigma 100-400 for travel. G'day, Aaron. How are you, buddy? Nice to see you here. Aaron said, looks great. I don't like variable aperture zooms. They are never quality and lack sharpness. It's only the consistent aperture zooms that are any good. Well, I used to say, yes, that was the case, but I don't believe that's the case anymore, Michael. I think that has changed now in the latest lenses that are out there. Yeah, I agree with you before. The variable aperture lenses were an issue not so long ago, but the lenses that I've used now, the variable aperture lenses, in fact, are very, very good, like very good. I still probably agree that it's nicer if you have a lens that's just set at that aperture, but I wouldn't sort of hesitate now to get a variable aperture lens, like particularly when you look at, say, the Tamrons and things like that. Like I think that the 35 to 150 is going to be incredible, even though it's a variable aperture lens. I don't think that's true anymore. Aaron said, I love the idea of this Tamron, but small, lightweight lenses. Yeah, it's not going to be a light lens. So if you're after a light lens, it's not for you. Was looking forward to that 135 until the info came out. Greetings from Washington. Hi, Leanna. How are you? Michael said it weighs 2.5 pounds and it's out in November. Yeah, 2.5 pounds. There you go. So it is. It's quite a heavy lens. I still think I'd like to have it, though. I can't wait for your review of this lens. Yes, same screen, I think. Yeah, I do. I think it will definitely have the new screen, the A7 IV. Yeah, it should have the screen. They'd save more just reusing the body already in production. Thanks so much, Sam, for the donation. I just don't know why they don't show. David, you and your 4K, laugh out loud kidding. Has it been bad? Let me know how the stream's been, guys. Just curious to know. Brett said it has the heat sink in the body. It will have 60p video. Let's hope so, Brett. I really do. Gear Test said, I wouldn't think they would put CF Express on a camera that tops out in 4K 30. Yeah, it's interesting. But whether it's just cheaper now because that's been developed and they're using the same body to put those cards in, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've just got a feeling, though, it might be line skipped or pixel binned. I don't know. The The A9 does only 4K 30, so it's the same to me. Julian said 4K 60 a must, along with a flippy screen is a seller for me. Yeah, and like I said, that's us though, Julian. A lot of people don't like the flip out screen. So if you don't, well then you'd be happy if Sony don't release it with a flip out screen. So it was interesting that the R3 that I showed you a second ago, even though that is a true, probably you could say sports camera, it does have a flip out screen. I just didn't show you that in any of that footage as well. Where were we? Julian, flippy is a must for me too. Yeah, and that's why Aaron loves his A7C so much. Hi, David. Good to see you live again. I thought that new studio mic for the Canon R3 microphone was interesting. I would like to see Sony release something like that for the active hot shoe. Yeah, I never saw the mic release, Raymond. I must have a look at that. But yeah, they come out with some great things, that's for sure. And like I said, competition is great for all of us. Brand new A9 on sale for, wow, $2,550 US. Hard to wait for the A7 IV. Probably worth waiting, though. I know, that is an amazing price. Boy, if you're after an amazing camera, the A9 is so cheap at the moment compared to what it was. And like I said, the A7 III too is a great deal as well. Why would the A7 IV require CF Express Type A slots on those specs? Only because it might be just that it's developed already and it's cheaper to keep the body as it is. Remember too that they'll still sell the CF Express cards, so it's a win-win for Sony anyway, because it's in there, and some people may just want to use them. They are much safer cards than the SD cards. Yes, I'm a big fan of stereo mics. Aaron said the original 28 to 75 mil is sort of ugly. Yeah, it's not. I mean, yeah, right. It's not a really pretty lens, Aaron. So it might be interesting to see how this one looks. Michael gave me $5. Happy Sunday, David. Thank you so much, Michael. I just can't show that donation, but I really appreciate that, mate. He's saying happy Sunday. Nivak said, I'm sure the R3 is a great camera, but being a lot more expensive than the A9 II and just a tad cheaper than the A1 with half the megapixel makes it seems overpriced. I definitely would get the A1 over the R3, definitely. Although it does have that flip-out screen, and I must admit would be incredible. I'm sure I just read that one. Hopefully it shoots better 1080p. I think it will, Nick. I'm sure it will, yeah, because the other versions of the Canon were soft as. I'm waiting and hoping for an A9 III. Well, they may do that now because they might have to sort of try and combat that camera. I didn't think they would actually initially, but perhaps they will. Greetings all. Just got the notification, Hero said. Oh, sorry, Hero. It's crazy YouTube, isn't it? I tried that app when it first came out. It was buggy. Oh, really? Okay. Indonadri, I think it is. Man, if the R3 is almost beating A1 image, what will the R1 be? I know that's going to be incredible to think what the Canon R1 will be. Canon is making progress at an alarming rate. Lenses like the 16 2.8 is something else for vlogging. Good times for consumers for sure. I agree. Canon are doing great deals. The only thing I wish Canon would have done, though, is open up the mount, and I don't know why they didn't do that. See, the advantage now with, the Sony is you can use Sigma, you can use Tamron lenses, Samyang, Voigtlander, you can use anything almost. But the Canon, they haven't opened that mount up, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. So you have got a lot more options of getting really good, cheaper glass for the Sony. I wanted to use that app for my runway shots. It just didn't work, Aaron. If you get more than 10 frames per second on the A7 IV, then an A9 III is a definite, especially as the R3 is on the scene. So you're saying, yeah, if it's only 10 frames per second, yeah. You're saying then you'll get an A9 III. Runs with Scissors is saying sexy. That's because I went, yeah, baby, yeah. Mike said, the R3, we don't know anything about dynamic range yet. Also, Canon needs to increase readout speed in order to catch up to Sony A1. Yep, I agree. Yep. I think the A1 is definitely going to be a better camera. That's for sure. Raymond said, I saw a review on the new app to control our Sonys called Monitor. Oh, plus. Looks very cool. Oh, must write that down. I'll check it later. Monitor. Let me just... Can I highlight that? No. I'll check that out. Monitor Plus. Hang on, I'm going to write it down because I'll forget. Because I love new things and I'll check it out. So it's called Monitor Plus, is it? All right. Let me just see if I can find it on the App Store. I'll just go here. Where are we? File, new window. Monitor Plus iPhone app. If I can find it, I'll show you. App. No, it's not coming up. I'll have to look on. Let me just go to the Apple Store and I'll just see if I can find it there. Monitor Plus. Return. Let's see if it comes up. No, it's not showing. I'll have to look later. Unless it's just Monitor Plus without a space. Let me try that. Monitor Plus. I'll put Sony in, see if that helps. No. No, it's just got a Bravia TV. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Let me go back to where we were. I'll have to look at that, though, see if I can find it. Is that for Apple? You were saying that Monitor Plus is? Because you're saying the App Store, but I just can't seem to find it. Aaron said, your stream looks perfect. I was referring to your need for 4K in a camera, but, oh, okay. I've never understood persons who complain about the weight of lenses when most of us used to lug around 70 to 200 and the 35 to 150 could potentially be one less solution if you don't need ultra wide. I know, I think that too, William. That's why that lens excites me. Hoping cameras in 2022 will have SD slots or CF Express. I'm sure they probably will. Flippy comes in handy for pro sports cameras with long telephoto lenses, so you can turn the camera and vlog. I agree. You know, and it's also this too. Like if you go, where are we? Let me just go back to number 8. Go there. Let me just get rid of this thing too. Where they also are incredibly good is if you are shooting this way, all right, and you want to see the screen. Well, you can't do that unless you have a flippy screen. It's really awkward because the screen is going to actually be doing this. I don't even know if I can do it now. But yeah, you can't because these don't fold that way. But all you could do is fold it up that way or that way. But to have that ability to fold it down like that, you know, really is fantastic. And I know Aaron particularly does a lot of shots like that. Like you can be right on the ground and you can sort of see the screen that's there. And that's brilliant. And I love that aspect of it. You know, and just to be able to immediately sort of go down like this and put the screen that way, fully out. If you're going high and you can have it down that way. Like it's just such a great thing to have, and I really couldn't do without it. And in fact, I'm always holding it like this with my hand underneath, and it's sort of always sitting there like that when I'm shooting. And I just adore that aspect of shooting with it that way. So, you know, it's just so important to me now. But like I said, I can understand completely if you think that it's not right, you know, for you. Because he's saying here that Flippy comes in handy for pro sports camera with long telephoto lenses so you can turn the camera and vlog the same time. Yeah, that's another thing. You can face it towards you, which is also terrific too. But the app is version 2 now, so might have fixed it. Well, they might have, Aaron. That could be it. Yeah, so Monitor Plus. I'll have to see if I can find it because it wasn't showing up for me. It works, has wireless monitor feed and control. I wish they have it for Blackmagic. I'm going to have to find it. Can someone put a link in the questions down below after this is finished? Could you put a link in just so that I can get to it? I was just testing out Monitor Plus last night. Not much time with it yet, but it seems to work well. Lots of camera control and is user-friendly. You have to download it directly from the page. On phone, I'll look it up, Raymond said. Downloaded Monitor Plus looks good. Oh, I'm the only one that hasn't seen it. Oh, it's only US, is it? Oh, so we haven't got... Oh, because is it on the Sony camera? So that's probably what it is. I think it's on the Sony... it's on the Sony phone. I think I do remember seeing that the other day. You're saying no space, yes, iOS. But it's only in the US, is it? Wow. Manufacturing, Hon in high search, and you will see it there. Manufacturing Hon in UN. I'm not sure what that means. That's the number one reason why I like the flippy screen. If Sony don't bring 6K 30, 4K 60 on the a7 IV, it will be boring and a disappointment. Well, I suppose we have to say, Elliot, what it has to offer first before we can say that, but it certainly would be for me, yes. But others probably wouldn't care less. So, it's interesting. Hon in Yun search. Oh, okay, I'll have to have a look. Shooting miniatures for music video at the moment with the a7S III and the 24 lens. No, how good a combo is it? This is a very special camera. I love the flippy screen as I can get so low. I know, that's it. That's why I'm saying it's my favorite body ever. And I wouldn't hesitate to get another one. Like I said, if the a7 IV doesn't have what I've got with the a7S III, I'm going to just get another a7S III. That's for sure. Because I just adore it so much. Hey David, only found this now looking to upgrade from T7 to full frame Canon. Any recommendation for sport and wildlife, please? Can't really say, Doc, but hi, thanks for joining. Because I don't shoot them. That's the thing. I don't do basically sport and wildlife. I'm just a portrait photographer. But I'm sure some people here in the chat will be able to help you, or even list afterwards in the comment box down below if they could help Doc Photography there to say some recommendations about what they would use. But like I said, I'm an amateur if you talk about shooting sports and wildlife, because it's just something that I just don't do. But I'm sure someone will be able to help you, particularly too because it's Canon as well. We probably will have some Canon shooters there too. It might be a good question too to ask in the photography videography school. I'll have the link of that down below, where you can join that if you wanted to join it, and ask the question in there, because you will get some help in there as well. I post the link in chat in the comment. Oh, okay. It just shows, it's 30 seconds. It takes 30 seconds to come through to me, so that's probably why it hasn't come through. The other thing too, guys, if you are in here and you haven't subscribed, you won't be able to comment. There has to be an advantage about being a subscriber to my channel. So I have only limited chats to subscribers. So if you do want to join us in the chat, and I love that aspect of it, please make sure that you subscribe. And it does take 5 minutes before you're allowed to chat after that. But that is definitely there. Let me see if I can see that link. Oh, he's going to post it in the chat. Okay, afterwards. Yep, cool. Thanks, Zoet. That'd be great. Yeah, post it in afterwards, and I can then open it up and have a look. Well, that's about it, guys. I've been well on for well over an hour. Thanks so much. It's just about coffee time for me now. So what I'm going to do is disappear, have a nice coffee with Kerry. Stay tuned for some videos during the week. I will have some other things up. I definitely will be looking at that gimbal, which I've got to look at. I got another gimbal, Aaron. You're going to laugh. And I've got some other things. I've got a new lens that I want to show too. It's a new macro lens that's been sent to me. Oh, and I'm getting another macro lens sent to me. So I've got some interesting things coming up in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. And apart from that, everyone, I'll see you in the next show. Now, I've got to go to, where are we? Let me go there. And I need to go to 7 and go there. And I think I've got a switch. Auto.